Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're going to give our first impressions of Walls of York. And this is a game that you got Michaela as a gift earlier this year, and we've played it 2 times now.
2 times.
And
one time correctly. We did mess up a roll.
We did mess up a roll originally.
The first one.
And so we had to play this one. Well, we didn't. As part of our Alphabet Soup Challenge, we got back to playing it again. And yeah, it's a bit of a... I would say when I first saw it, I was excited by the walls, because that always excites me when you kind of have 3D pieces that you're putting up on the board. But at the same time, it was a little blah. It seemed like a little blah for me, so I wasn't too overly excited for this one. But yeah, I guess were you a little more? I think you were probably a little more excited about it.
A little more excited, just because it kind of made me think of kind of a roll and write. And I know you kind of say this pretty much is a roll and write. It's just you're placing walls instead of writing them down. And it just felt like a really quick filler game of trying to, I guess, I'm just going to describe the whole game. I was decently excited, I guess I will say, just from my excitement level. But then we got back into it, and it was that you're rolling dice. It determines, well, you set up your maps. They have different icons on them, 3 different buildings, some Vikings, some coins, and you roll dice to determine what buildings, how many at least you need of each type to inside of your walls. Then you roll a die each turn, and it determines what shape and how many of walls you get to place, and everyone has to do that. Everyone has identical maps and identical walls that they have to place, and you go try and do wall in the area, get the buildings that wants in there, and
try to do that as quickly as possible.
Yeah, as quickly as possible. And I thought that was really satisfying. For me, just trying to puzzle it out, kind of get a game plan at the start of, I need to include this building and this building, then I'm going to wrap around here, get these, and try to not include the Vikings because they will hurt me. So yeah, I found that really satisfying.
Yeah, in our play, I would say that it didn't seem quite as satisfying to me, because I was just imagining partially this one being just a roll and write, and that didn't seem quite as satisfying. And then kind of the maps themselves being the exact same, and you're rolling and getting the exact same result. You kind of, especially depending on what the rolled results are, sometimes you kind of have to almost do this same thing as your opponent.
Yeah, because
there's almost one best way to do it.
Yeah, because when we played it wrong, where we had each person rolls the die for their specific walls that they get, we still ended up with very similar maps, even getting different results from that. And we played it the right way this time, where everybody gets the same thing, and we did end up with pretty similar maps again, probably more different than we did the other time, honestly, but yeah, it's not too much variability between players, which is one possible negative in the long run, I think, for this. You might have to house rule, possibly just make up a random map for each player, possibly.
Yeah, that might just make it possibly unfair. That's the only thing, because depending on how they're set up, it could really be different, and then someone might have to have a huge wall to actually make it work.
Yeah,
whereas someone else could have a smaller one potentially.
Yeah, it's true.
Which kind of is the tough thing. I don't know if there is a way to really fix it. And then I also in my head compare this one to Era Medieval Age, which I really like a lot, and I think the 3D pieces in that one are just a little bit more cool than these walls. But I think it works, and this way you don't have to actually use either a laminated pad and use a marker and stuff, or use multiple sheets of paper every game that you play of it. So that is a good thing for sure, and it makes it easy to kind of set up and play as well. This is definitely a quick one, and I think it's much more approachable than that. But yeah, I think long term this one would probably get pretty stale for me. It'd be one that I'd maybe play once or twice a year, but it's short enough that I'd still play it. So I think this one would probably come in at maybe a 6 for me, maybe 5.5 even. I think this one is one that, as I played it more, it would probably slowly drop off more. But it works, so it'd probably still stay about like a 5 or something.
Yeah, yeah. I'd probably. It's a tough one. I'd probably give it an 8 because I mean I enjoy it and I think it's got good components. And it's for a filler game. It's what I'm looking for. I mean nothing too deep.
Right.
I do.
It's clean.
Yep, very clean, and I really do love that if you do complete your castle, your wall before others, when you then roll the die. When the die is rolled, instead of placing castle pieces, it also has another half that has pips on the die, which is points that you'll get, which I really love that. Just a little reward for finishing earlier than the others. So really, that was something unique where a game that's pretty streamlined, pretty simple, it had that little twist in there that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I would definitely say though that this is definitely like a Sunday morning game that won't be too intimidating.
Yep.
You can easily get into it, get it done in 20 minutes or less probably once you know what you're doing, and still have some fun memories with it. So those are our initial thoughts on Walls of York. You can check out an unboxing video on our channel, probably in the playlists below. But otherwise, we hope to see you there, and as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.